that we're recording on the Zoe app have had at least double or triple vaccination are getting cold-like symptoms predominantly, and only a few of them are ever going to hospital or getting severe disease. So the vaccines are protecting against the severity of it. With the Omicron, so far, most of the cases in South Africa have either been in young people or people who've been vaccinated. And so I think it's still too early to rule out that there will be some severe cases. So most people think that it's going to be similar to Delta, but possibly slightly milder. But that still means there's a huge range of responses to it. And I think we're still likely to see lots of cases, particularly in unvaccinated people or people with problems with their immune systems.
Okay, let me take you through. Sorry, I can't quite get to the bottom of this. Let's start with the double jabbed and people who've been boosted, right? So they've made a choice, they've taken the vaccine and they're boosted. You're saying, are you not, that they face very little in the way of threat from Omicron?
I don't know that. I'm saying that based on the few cases we've seen so far, they generally will be unwell for a few days, but most of them should be fine.
Okay.
And it's protecting, it seems to be protecting them against severe disease. Now, until it gets to the UK in sufficient numbers in the over 60s, we won't really be sure of that.
All right, but because most people are vaccinated, we've got a thankfully very high take-up of vaccine. Listeners will understand why I'm directing my attention towards the response in vaccinated people. So my question then is, if you look at the response among vaccinated people, is it less severe than Delta?
We don't know from UK data, and it's hard to tell from the South African data yet, but generally when you get something that's more transmissible, it tends to be slightly less severe. So everyone is either hoping or assuming that is going to be the case, but we can't be certain yet.
I understand that. I've seen a South African specialist say, what we've got to hope for is that this is what we had with Spanish flu. The final stage was when it became incredibly catchable, contagious, and much less dangerous. And therefore, we may see with Omicron that it spreads to everybody and it doesn't really bother them. Do you think we can hope for that?
Well, I think we can hope for that, but whether it's Omicron or the variant after it or the variant after that is what we don't know.
But when people hear it's more contagious, they panic. But actually, being more contagious doesn't matter if it's less dangerous, correct?
I think it doesn't. For the individual, it's good news. The fact that it's possibly less severe. Let's assume it's less severe, but more contagious. The problem is for the country and the population as a whole, you will, at this stage, have more cases in hospital, clogging up already overcrowded hospitals, staff off sick, urgent services, etc. So it could cause more damage to the country, although for each individual, it's less of a worry. So that's sort of the dilemma we're in here. So it's not a fantastic thing for everything, just to have a really contagious, slightly milder one at the moment. Eventually,
is that because
like a cold, in which case it only lasts 2 days and that's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like for vaccinated people, that's the situation. But I'm guessing that when you say hospitals can get clogged up, you're talking about its effect on people who've chosen not to have the vaccine. Is that correct?
That's correct, and they could keep getting reinfected as well. So that's the other problem. It's looking like natural immunity isn't going to be as effective, and people who have been unvaccinated who are saying, oh, I don't need to be vaccinated, I've had COVID, I'm fine, are not are going to be risking going back to hospital again. And this is the recurrent problem we're going to be facing.
In which case, we may be taking all these measures for people who've